Hey, I'm Leo Ashe, and if I were being kind, I'd say Ben Shapiro is a pseudo-intellectual, but I'm not here to be nice. I'm here to
kick names, take ass.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's be honest. Ben Shapiro is a hack, feigning as a real boy Mr. Smarty Pants who thinks he's seen it all because he was on the high school debate team. If Ben were a supervillain, his superpower would be using logical fallacies to mesmerize dumb people.
No, it's just a fallacy.
But his weakness would be that he also mesmerizes himself whenever he talks. Shit. Did I just out Ben Shapiro as a supervillain?
Huge mistake. You should shut up.
Also, this sniveling man-child whines so much that he's giving all of us normal whiny Jews a bad name. It's honestly, Ben, it's a bit anti-Semitic. Supporting Trump and even whining like him, you're making all Jews look like whiny hacks. And worst of all, now you're plagiarizing Trump's talking points?
Everybody knows it.
It's embarrassing, Ben. Was your script written by Kellyanne Conway? What happened to the old Ben who had like 10 to 15% integrity? You know, the integrity of a prostitute who supposedly won't do anal. I mean, Ben, the way you're willing to prostrate yourself for money and attention just kind of bums me out. And maybe you'll listen to me because I'm Jewish. But before we get into the details, remember to hit that subscribe button for more comedy, cats, and politics.
Good.
So Ben released this video on why he's voting for Trump in 2020, and I can't help but point out that while this video is less than 10 minutes long, his video supporting Amy Coney Barrett is over an hour long. Regardless, Ben's reasoning is split into 3 parts.
First of all, Donald Trump has governed pretty conservatively. Second, I wasn't really wrong about Donald Trump on character, but whatever damage he was going to do has already been done, and it's not going to help if I don't vote for him this time. Third, and most importantly, the Democrats have lost their f***ing minds.
Now, I don't have time to hit every single argument that Ben dipshit makes, so instead, I'll focus on the most egregious lies. But before I begin, I feel like I should say at least one nice thing about Ben. And I mean this honestly, bro. I super appreciate how organized and logical your bullshit is. Respect. That's a sign master debaters give each other. It's a debate club thing. Anyway, let's begin with part 3, Democrats be crazy, and then I'll come back to part 1. I'm just going to ignore part 2 because it's so convoluted and pathetic that it's not even really worth my time.
Third, and most importantly, the Democrats have lost their f***ing minds. These people must not be allowed the mechanisms of power. The Democrats are no longer the party even of Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama. They're the party of Bernie Sanders, and they're just wearing around the mask of Joe Biden. He is not a bulwark against radicalism. He is a facade for it. Everybody knows it.
This is a common tactic by Trump where he says everyone knows something that is clearly bullshit.
I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either.
I can do it too. For example, I can't actually prove that Ben Shapiro jerks off to himself talking, but I think everyone knows it's true.
Everybody knows it.
But here's the thing. As a shrewd Jewish boy once said,
Facts don't care about your feelings.
reminder, Uncle Joe is who the first black president picked for his ticket to calm the fears of white conservatives. He's as Republican as any Democrat can get, and the idea that he'll govern according to the whims of Bernie Sanders and
AOC plus 3
is laughably stupid and dishonest.
The Democratic Party is now the party of radicalism.
Oh, Ben, just because you feel that way doesn't make it true.
They're based on feelings, not facts.
In fact, the Congressional Progressive Caucus has 97 members in the House out of 435, and in the Senate, it's even worse, with only 10 or so progressives out of 100. Virtually nobody with any real power in the Democratic Party is a progressive, and I say that with regret because I am a progressive.
That's why Bernie is touting him as the most progressive presidential candidate since FDR. There's a reason that Noam Chomsky is on board.
Yes, Ben, there is a reason why Bernie and Noam Chomsky are supporting Joe Biden. In fact, it's the same reason that I a progressive, created this video about why I didn't support Biden in the primary, and then created this video about why I did support Joe Biden in the general. It's because we know Trump is way worse, and it's not because we see Biden as a progressive champion.
He's a very confused guy. He thinks he's running against somebody else. He's running against Joe Biden.
Today's Democratic Party is not even the Democratic Party of Barack Obama circa 2008. Barack Obama circa 2008 supported traditional marriage.
Oh my God. It's 2020. The world is on fire, and Ben Dipshit still is mad that gay people have rights.
Barack Obama in 2008 used to speak about personal responsibility sometimes. Like, all of this is just gone.
Ah, yes. Trump definitely wins on personal responsibility.
No, I don't take responsibility at all.
The simple mandate for the Democrats is this. They now believe in cramming down their perspective on everyone they can via any force that they can control.
Republicans are masters of projection. They constantly deflect by accusing Democrats of doing what they are most guilty of doing. It's a form of gaslighting that would be impressive if it weren't so blindly sociopathic. I mean, the hypocrisy is just laughable. The conservative playbook for centuries has been to control women, gays, minorities, and poor people using the courts and the legislature. But rather than being honest, conservatives claim that losing their right to control people is a form of persecution as they try to shove Judeo-Christianity down the throats of all Americans by any means necessary.
They believe that you should be forced by law to violate your religious beliefs if it conflicts with their social views.
No, we believe that women should be able to get reproductive health care, and that gays and black people should be able to be both gay and or black without other people using their religions as an excuse to discriminate against them.
They believe that the science says we have to destroy the free market in the name of the environment.
Wrong again, Ben. We know that climate change is real and believe in both free market and government action to tackle an international problem that threatens all life on Earth. Oh, wait. That's right. Ben doesn't care about that.
Huge mistake.
What I meant to say is that climate change threatens the American economy, which we can bolster with clean energy jobs while saving the environment. But don't trust me, Ben. Here's a Republican.
We have a Meshuggah leader in Washington.
Protecting the environment will not destroy our economy. The bottom line is great environmental policies do the opposite. They pump up the economy.
China plans to spend more than $360 billion on renewable energy by 2020, which it says will create at least 13 million new jobs.
They say that unborn babies aren't babies, that men can be women. And if you disagree with any of that, you're a bigot, you're a homophobe, and you're a terrible person.
Ah, yes, the important issues plaguing 2020. Why are women allowed to get an abortion, and why are trans people allowed to exist? Well, Ben, I do think you're a terrible person, but to be fair, I simply respect you as much as you respect trans people, which is to say, not at all, because you're mentally ill, Ben.
Everybody knows it.
It's called conservative dysphoria, and you need to get over it.
You just have to get over yourself.
They believe that your right to keep and bear arms should be heavily infringed, if not outright abolished.
Republicans have been saying this for decades. Did Obama ever take your guns? Regardless of how you feel, Ben, the Democrats merely believe in common sense gun reform, like mandatory background checks.
These are facts, and facts don't care about your feelings.
They believe that America is systemically racist, rooted in sin and evil.
America is historically and systemically racist, rooted in the original sin of slavery. How is this still debatable, Ben? Do you research, bro? Do you only read yourself?
They believe that economic freedom should be curbed in the name of income equality.
I guess economic freedom is code for slightly higher taxes on the rich, but Ben, if you believe in any government social programs like public school, corporate welfare, or farm subsidies, then you also believe in income equality. Oh my God, is Ben Dipshit a socialist?
Meanwhile, they'll make room for Antifa and Black Lives Matter. They will cheer the rioting and the looting, or at least they'll go along with it and refuse to condemn it.
Who is cheering riots? Who are these pro-looting Democrats, Ben? Just admit that they're as fictional as your integrity.
They will not condemn it.
Rioting is not protesting. Looting is not protesting. Setting fires is not protesting. None of this is protesting. It's lawlessness, plain and simple. And those who do it should be prosecuted.
They literally will not even condemn Antifa. They will not condemn it.
I condemned it across the board. The president still hasn't condemned the far-right folks coming out and protesting and using violence.
Do you condemn Antifa?
Yes, I do. Violence, no matter who it is.
Also, Ben, it wasn't Biden who said Antifa wasn't an organization.
It's not an organization, as Joe Biden said.
That was Christopher Wray, Trump's FBI director.
We look at Antifa as more of an ideology or a movement than an organization.
On foreign policy, the Democrats want to kowtow to Iran. They want to re-enter the garbage Paris Accords.
So much bullshit, so little time. Let's start with the Paris Accords, a voluntary international agreement to voluntarily start giving a shit about climate change, which Ben inexplicably hates, despite the fact that climate change is real and the agreement is fucking voluntary.
The agreement as a whole is not legally binding and doesn't penalize nations who fail to meet their commitments.
There is no enforcement mechanism in the Paris Agreement. The US could just easily refuse to pay the bill, something Donald Trump has a lifetime of practice doing.
As for Iran,
the even more idiotic and evil Iran deal, which gave money to the Iranian mullahs.
The money Ben's referring to was Iran's money, which was frozen as part of sanctions based on their nuclear program. So in order to get an agreement for Iran's nuclear disarmament, America had to unfreeze Iran's sanctioned money.
They've created a social structure dedicated to ostracizing anybody who dissents on leftist dogma, and they will activate the media, they will activate social media. If you vote for Trump, you are evil. Certainly, people should stop treating you like a human being.
Aw, Ben, are you feeling ostracized? Does Mr. Smarty Pants hate being called a hack on social media?
Oh, you gonna cry? Oh, don't cry or look bad with your widow Captain Kangaroo haircut.
No group in America complains more about feeling ostracized than the white majority. They cry about liberals being thin-skinned babies. They are the biggest snowflakes alive.
You're sad that people are mean? Well, I'm sorry. The world isn't one big liberal arts college campus. We eat too much. We take our spoiled lives for granted. Feel a little bad about it sometimes. No. You want to put all your shit up on the internet and have every single person say, hooray for you, fuck you.
I grew up as an evangelical Christian in Texas, and they are the ones who have purposefully created a social structure dedicated towards ostracizing anybody who dissents from conservative dogma. It's called church. That is the echo chamber through which white radicalism and terrorism is bred, leading Republicans to hate liberals and have higher esteem for Vladimir Putin than Barack Obama.
This chart shows Putin's net favorability among Republicans. All of a sudden, in August 2016, it spikes. By December 2016, the share of Republicans who saw Putin favorably had more than tripled.
So now let's return to part one, Trump's supposed accomplishments.
Donald Trump crushed ISIS.
The ISIS is not defeated, my friend. The biggest lie being told by the administration that ISIS is defeated. This, to me, is just unnerving to its core. To say to the American people ISIS has been destroyed in Syria is not true.
What else you got, Ben?
He cut taxes, jogging the economy, raising it to heights not seen in half a century, the lowest unemployment rate in half a century.
Ah, yes, Trump's only major accomplishment, cutting taxes for the rich. According to the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center, approximately 65 to 80% of the benefits went to the top 1%. And as for our formerly strong economy and low unemployment rate, that was Obama. Did you skip your macroeconomics class, Ben?
He moved the American embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. He brokered the first meaningful peace deals there in 3 decades in the Middle East.
First, moving the embassy is a meaningless gesture. Second, what peace deals? You mean the deal authored by Jared Kushner that only Israel agreed to? The only countries to open diplomatic relations with Israel are the UAE, Bahrain, and Sudan. There are no other peace deals with the Palestinians nor any crucial Middle Eastern country.
He cracked down on China in unprecedented ways.
Are you talking about Trump's incompetent trade war with China?
You lost that trade war. You lost it.
Or are you talking about all those times Trump tried to commit treason?
Quote, he then stunningly turned the conversation to the coming U.S. presidential election
alluding to China's economic capability to affect the ongoing campaigns, pleading with Chinese President Xi to ensure that he, Trump, would win. Mr. Bolton described several episodes where the president expressed willingness to halt criminal investigations, to, in effect, give personal favors to dictators he liked, citing cases involving major firms in China and Turkey. Quote, "The pattern looked like obstruction of justice as a way of life. I am hard-pressed to identify any significant Trump decision during my White House tenure that wasn't driven by re-election calculations."
Benjamin, you need to eject your head from Trump's ass and stop parroting his propaganda for money.
He's resisted using the federal government to control everybody's life during COVID. That's a big thing. This is the biggest government power grab of my lifetime, and Trump refused to do it.
A national mask mandate is not a government power grab, you sociopathic child. It's a fucking pandemic. Stop being a selfish douchebag and just follow some basic rules, you paranoid, egomaniacal prick.
Contrary to popular opinion, Donald Trump has not actually threatened the institutions.
We're competing in a rigged election. This is a rigged election.
He again suggested he might not accept the outcome of the election.
We want to make sure the election is honest, and I'm not sure that it can be. I don't know that it can be.
He has not threatened the press.
Trump revoked or threatened to revoke security clearances for government officials he dislikes.
We're going to open up those libel laws so that when the New York Times writes a hit piece, we can sue them and win money instead of having no chance of winning because they're totally protected. With me, they're not protected because I'm not like other people.
He has not threatened the legislature.
Headline that he's going to adjourn Congress in the middle of the pandemic to appoint his nominees.
The problem with that, Anderson, is a couple of things. One is it's never been done before, and so there are constitutional scholars who are saying, hold on a second, Mr. President, what are you talking about here?
If I'm victorious on November 3rd, I plan to forgive these taxes and make permanent cuts to the payroll tax.
He has not used the executive branch in nearly as powerful ways as Barack Obama did.
The president potentially using the Insurrection Act of 1807 to help quell a domestic disturbance. That's not what occurred here. We have now witnessed the president of the United States operating outside the bounds of U.S. law.
Although the Senate did have to change the rules and use the so-called nuclear option for the first time ever to confirm Neil Gorsuch to the bench. Once a critic of the practice, Mr. Trump has signed some 30 executive orders. That's more than Mr. Obama and more than Bush and Clinton combined. It hasn't been completely smooth sailing after the signings. His order on sanctuary cities and the travel ban have been temporarily blocked.
After 3.5 years, the president has signed more executive orders than Presidents Bush and Obama did at this point in their first terms.
He is essentially railing against the people at Voice of America because they won't put out propaganda about his administration, saying what a wonderful job he's doing, a theme that we've heard before.
So now you know Ben Shapiro is a conservative hack. And if you want others to know, remember to hit the subscribe button and share this with all of your friends. Also, Ben, if you're tired of out-debating college freshmen, I'm happy to school you any day. Just have your Jews call my Jews. Also, here's some good advice.
Stop worrying so much about your feelings and start worrying a little more about being a good person, doing your best, and not getting in your own way.
Until next time, I'm Leo Ashe. Stay angry.